Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Marxist Technocrat. Today we'll be talking about censorship in modern China and abroad. So what is censorship? Censorship has actually been around for a long time. In ancient Rome, it was the office of the censor, whose job was to hold censors and supervise public morals. In today's terms, censorship is the suppression of words, images, or ideas that are considered offensive. This is usually because they're obscene, objectionable, harmful, sensitive, inconvenient, politically unacceptable, or offensive to national security. Censorship can be conducted by governments, private institutions, and other controlling bodies, and usually happens when people succeed in imposing their personal, political, or moral values onto others. Censorship has been criticized throughout history for being unfair and hindering progress. However, it has also been seen to impose moral value on society, as in the censorship of material that are considered obscene, such as child pornography. There are different types of censorship which are often justified with different rationales. Moral censorship is the removal of materials that are obscene or otherwise considered morally questionable. Military censorship is the process of keeping military intelligence and tactics confidential and away from the enemy. Political censorship occurs when governments hold back information from their citizens. Religious censorship is the means by which any material considered objectionable by a certain religious group is removed. Corporate censorship is the process by which auditors and editors in corporate media intervene or disrupt publishing of information that often portrays their business or partners in bad light. So what do political groups think about censorship? From the perspective of right-wing conservatives, censorship takes away our liberties unless it is justified. First, it is often framed in a way that constitutes morality and state security that this is often not agreed upon by the masses. In the case of left-wing progressive politics, they argue that censorship should probably not happen at all, but since it is necessary, we should target things such as hate speech to more subtle things like breastfeeding in public, which is framed as a focus on moral integrity and also of self-improvement. This is often not challenged by the mass, but can be seen as overreaching. So what do the Chinese socialists think? From their perspective, censorship is a tool used to protect the sovereignty of the state and her people. It should be a solution that enables her people to raise awareness of problems affecting them. Of course, the problem here is that none of these ideas are completely perfect and can be very hypocritical and lead to a double standard. Let's use a comparison to smoking. Your right to smoke infringes on someone else's right to fresh air. So what should we do? Let's take a look at what the political parties think and come to a conclusion. For the right-wing conservative, they believe that we should allow the sales of cigarettes in the name of liberty. For the left-wing thinking, we should work towards banning smoking in the name of our health. Meanwhile, the Chinese believe that smoking is a choice. However, we should promote education and aim to limit smoking to specific or targeted areas. So which of the three would you choose? Going back to censorship, if you had to implement censorship to make our society better today, what would you do? I'll give you a moment to think about it. So now we'll get back to the question of how this applies to China. Censorship is a choice. The Chinese government chooses to protect their sovereignty and blocks off disinformation from outside forces, and then limiting internal politics from entering these same forces. Corporations should be limited in what ads it can present or sell to children, and algorithms should be regulated to protect your individual interests and privacy. In regards to freedom of choice, VPNs are widely available, and people can raise awareness on the internet with governments at all levels if problems happen to them. Remember, the Chinese constitution actually allows for freedom of speech and press. Google being blocked or regulated is not the same as people being silenced. That's what people need to remember. So what then is the problem? The problem we face today is the inaction of the government to use censorship as it was meant for. It is a willingness of corporations to comply with rules and regulation and communicate our freedoms in a way that benefit our society. You can shout out the slogans you want, but all it does is put you in a pool of noise to compete against. You can censor hate speech and crime, but we won't go away as long as they can have a platform to preach. Ads targeting a certain niche can keep us in a bubble, and is an invasion of our privacy. These are problems we need to think about and solve. Final thoughts. Censorship is a tool and a choice. How can we use it correctly and wisely to the benefit of society and the people? Do you think governments should use censorship to protect their sovereignty? Should and how do we regulate corporations, ads, algorithms, and protect our online privacy? How do we promote individual voices in a pool of noise without it derailing into a platform of misinformation and hate? Thank you for listening.